Why, hello! Hey, YouTube friends! How's it going today? All is well up in Saskatoon. Thank you for tuning in to Dee's Creative Corner. My name is Danielle Coleman. I'm a Creative Memories Independent Advisor, and I love scrapbooking. That's why you're here. So, today we're going to do a little flip through. I'm pre-recording a few videos because I am going to be away in Texas for several weeks. So I figured we would go through a few albums and hopefully you can get some inspiration from there. So I just want to thank each and every one of you guys, my existing subscribers from all over the world and my new subscribers. Thank you so much. So without further ado, let's jump into our album that we're going to flip through. This is a 2023 trip album. It was out east in New England area. So I have, this is part one, and then I have another album with a lot of the covered bridges and such that I will share at another video. So let's get started. Okay. All right. Hello. So I had to shut some lights down to try to eliminate the glare just because we have the page protectors on, so hopefully it's not too dark for you guys. So here is a 12 by 12 album, and I thought this was a perfect cover that for our New England trip. We went out to Nantucket and did a whole lot this little mini vacation. So I always start my cover pages or my album with cover pages, generally the location and the year, and I usually will have between 1 and 3 photos depending on what type. So over here you'll see I have a brochure packet that they're adhesive that I just stick to the album, and then I throw in a bunch of different little postcards and different flyers and memorabilia that we picked up. So I will either put that in the beginning of the album or the end. And so here we have, I just used a jumbo circle and used border punch to make the circle. I try to be quick and easy. I always have so many ideas, and then I come to doing the albums and I just want to get them done. So let's move over. And here we have our, airplane punch. This is just starting our vacation. Everybody always, gets your aerial photos and on the plane. I did real easy embellishments and a lot of just block type cutting. So just to make the album go smooth and quick. Here, this was when we first got there down in Boston. This is my husband's, one of his favorite little place, Sammy Carlos. Phenomenal little restaurant. It's just an old little diner, and I love all the Bostonians there. I love the way they talk, and they're so friendly and funny. So, and I just did borders, used a couple border punches and the border makers, and then I used some scallop to decorate the edges, and then just a few triangles, real simple. And then here, this was a Plymouth plantation we stopped at, and there was a ton of photos. So I still have to do my journaling. That's always my last thing to do in the albums. But here on this layout, I have a multi-pocket page that I was able to add more of the photos of the little plantation that we went to. It was really awesome. It was, just to think back in the 1700s, how people lived. I love that primitive style, and it was really fun to see. So again, it's kind of a 2-page, super simple used the Border Maker cartridge and just a block of some solid or designer paper, and then my multi-packet page. And then over here, this was another real simple, I believe this was from a sketch from Creative Memories. I'm not 100% sure where I got this, but I use a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, Facebook. I have a ton of different sketchbooks that I will follow. So this was just, I used my tag maker and just threw a couple embellishments on. So, and then here I used our little crab. Oops, I see some of it kind of got smooshed down. I gotta fix that. And I used, this was just from the Cricut, super simple. And my husband loves his lobster, so he was able to enjoy while we were out east. This was in Hyannis, Massachusetts. We stayed there, and then we take the ferry over to Nantucket. We were just in Hyannis for a few hours before we went to Nantucket. So this was our boat ride over to the island, and like I said, I have to go back and do some journaling. This was a super quick, easy page. I did a little bit of doodling on the outside with just my pen, and kind of did a grid style. Nothing too fancy, just to get them done. And then here is some peekaboo pockets I added. This was, we were adventuring down into Nantucket, and we got to see just all the fun different things. This was our second time over there, so and then I was able to use I had lighthouse stickers from I believe it was a special. I'm not sure exactly what packet a lot of this came from. I go into my stash and I just use it. So, and I use our punches. And then this, because it was in October, I figured, this was a pretty fall layout. We stayed at the Jared Coffin House, and it's a beautiful brick it was a mansion back in the day. And so I figured, this orange would go pretty with the fall foliage, and then I just, used some more border punches and some embellishments. And then we ended up going to Martha's Vineyard as well. We took a ferry from Nantucket to Martha's Vineyard. That was maybe about a half hour, maybe not even that long, but that was really cool. It was so fun to see just the different little sections of the island. We didn't do a ton. This is one of the flying horses, the oldest carousel in the nation. That was right there in Martha's Vineyard. And then of course I had to go to Vineyard Vines, and I probably got a hat and some other goodies. So here, this is kind of a whimsical, generic page. We went to the gingerbread village in Martha's Vineyard. So these homes, it's a beautiful little area of hundreds of homes that remind you of all, little gingerbread and the bright and vibrant colors. So I'm like, I don't know how to really do a page, so I just used Rick Rack and some strips. Super simple. Again, a lot of pictures, so a multi-packet or multi-pocket for some additional photos. So as you see, it was just, there's a lot of pinks and purples and so many vibrant colors. And of course, you to take so many different pictures of all the different styles, and it was really neat to walk around and see. And then that evening, of course, my husband had to get some more lobster, and I ended up with some chicken strips. That's just, I'm a rare breed that I don't like seafood. So we were here at the Nantucket Lobster Trap, and I ate off the kids' menu, and the server he laughed, but we had a really fun time. And again, super simple page. I believe this might have been from Janice over from Stampin' Up. I got this idea from her, this is just like the square off of some of the triangles. Just a real fun, simple page. And then the next day we ended up going for a scooter ride around Nantucket. And this I used an old travel, I think it was Wanderlust. And how perfect was that to get a little scooter in there? Super simple. I just added a few little banners and the cute little scooter and some border maker arrows, and we were gone for several hours, but we were able to tour the whole island, and it was fun. So, and then we always go to the lighthouse, and that's where my husband proposed to me, down at Branch Point Lighthouse. So he ended up getting me a ring that year. So it's always special to go back to Nantucket. It means a lot to both of us. It's a special place in our heart. And so I used a lot of the border maker. Try to use your tools when you're doing these types of layouts. And I just took these are like 1.5-inch strips, and put them on there, and very simple. That's kind of how I roll. And so here, this was down at the end of Nantucket, is called Sconset Bluffs, another beautiful little quaint community. And we took our scooters down there, and we walked around and saw. I love just how all the homes are. It's just pristine, and it's so fun, and so fun to see all of the what am I trying to say? Architecture, that it's all really the same. They have to follow code, and there's strict building requirements and all. So that was down there. And again, super easy, some triangles, and layered them up. And I just made this for my little journaling area. And then later that evening, we had met a wonderful couple, George and June. They're locals there on the island, and they were touring us around a little bit later that night. We went to Cisco Brewers right there in Nantucket, and we had some little hors d'oeuvres and a few local brewed drinks, and it was fun. And we had our scooter. But we did bring it back before we had any beverages, and they picked us up at our hotel, so we were safe. All right, and then we left Nantucket, and that was the morning. Again, more of the fall colors, kind of. I didn't use any particular themed paper pack for this, because there is so much to do and choose from. So I just used our border punch and used just simple strips and got that all done. And then we drove over into Vermont, and a lot of the Vermont and New Hampshire was our covered bridges. That's where we did most of our sightseeing, and what we did when we were over in those two. We were able to stop. We were at a Yankee Candle That was a huge, I think it's originated out there in Massachusetts, Vermont, and so that was neat. And I found a little craft store, of course. I'm always on the hunt for my primitive fun stuff. And then we stayed in, now I'm jumping to New Hampshire. We stayed in this old shaker box. It was the most unique hotel or stay that we've ever stayed in. It was truly like walking back into the 1700s. It was, I believe we were on the third floor. It was so quiet. It was, to be honest, it was a little eerie, but it was a fantastic experience. That was so fun. And then here I have my my little directions of all the different bridges. Like I said, that's going to be in the next video. I don't want this too long. So, and then as we're venturing, we stopped into, different little towns between New Hampshire and Vermont. Saw a lot. There's so much history out there. It's just phenomenal. And again, I'll keep saying, you've probably heard me say simple scrapbooking, but that's how we get our albums done, right, guys? So then now, going back. So we did New Hampshire and Vermont, and all of that was covered bridges. So I'm going to do that in my next video. And then the following day, we were getting ready to leave, and we had a day in downtown Boston. So we were able to go to a lot of the history down there, to Boston Common Square, and saw so much. And it's overwhelming with the history down there. And I could go for weeks out there and travel the East Coast. Simply gorgeous out there. So, and then, we had to go and stop at the Cheers. And unfortunately, we did not have a beer there because it was rather busy. We just kind of went in. They were under renovation, and so we didn't get the full front view of the Cheers pub from the show back in the day. But it was really neat to see. So, and again, I'm using up my stash. These are old papers from old kits, and getting to use a lot of different Boilermaker cartridges and punches. And here we were just exploring a little bit more in the public garden, and I had some die cuts for some travel themed, and used some of this ombre rustic looking type paper. I thought it felt, just because of the history and the old, it went really well with these photos. And then we went to the Paul Revere house, and you'll see I used more of some of our old paper. This was, again, these weren't Creative Memories papers. They're just from different packs from several years ago, trying to use up my stash. And I used another multi-pocket paper page, easy for me to say, and got a lot of photos from downtown. And we went to the burying of Paul Revere down to the cemetery. It's right in the middle of this huge city, and there's so much history. I love it. So, and then we're coming to the end, and then just some more of the history, the old state house. And, we have the old meeting house, which is so neat to see. You have all the skyscrapers in, and then you have these historic buildings that originated right there in Boston. So it's just so cool to see. And now we're to the last day, and we had some dinner at a little pub down there, and That was when we left, and I did a peekaboo at north end of Boston, and just some more of simple layering of different papers and adding embellishments and such. So, all right, that was quite lengthy. Let's get you guys flipped back. So, how was that? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much if you stuck through the whole video. And that was my part one of my New England trip, and we will do another one of the covered bridges. So thank you again, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a fantastic day or evening wherever you're watching from. So take care. Bye-bye for now.